Hello Kent House, Miss Tildersley here. Happy Pyjama Day. I hope you're wearing your pyjamas too. Today everybody in Kent House is going to be reading stories in their pyjamas. I'm reading Peace at Last by Jill Murphy. Jill Murphy is one of my favourite authors and all the characters in this story are wearing their pyjamas too. Perhaps your mummies and daddies and carers might relate to how Mrs. Large is feeling in this story. Shall we begin? What do you think the story is going to be about based on the front cover? The children were having breakfast. This was not a pleasant sight. What's unpleasant about how the children are having their breakfast? Do you normally wear your cereal like a hat on your head? What can you see underneath the table? Mrs. Large took a tray from the cupboard. She set it with a teapot, a milk jug, her favourite cup and saucer, a plate of marmalade toast and leftover cake from yesterday. She stuffed the morning paper into her pocket and sneaked off towards the door. I wonder who she's sneaking away from. Where are you going with that tray, Mum? Asked Laura. To the bathroom, said Mrs. Large. Why? Asked the other two children. Because I want 5 minutes peace from you lot, said Mrs. Large. That's why. I wonder if she's going to get her 5 minutes peace. What do you think? Can we come? Asked Lester as they trailed up the stairs behind her. No, said Mrs. Large, you can't. What shall we do then? Asked Laura. You can play, said Mrs. Large, downstairs by yourselves, and keep an eye on the baby. I'm not a baby, muttered the little one. There they are, trailing up the stairs behind Mrs. Large. Mrs. Large ran a deep hot bath. She emptied half a bottle of bath foam into the water, plonked on her bath hat and got in. She poured herself a nice cup of tea and lay back with her eyes closed. Oh, it was heaven. How is Mrs. Large feeling and why? I wonder how long her peace is going to last. Can I play you my tune? Asked Lester. Mrs. Large opened one eye. Must you? She asked. I've been practising, said Lester. You told me to. Can I, please, just for 1 minute? Go on then, sighed Mrs. Large. So Lester played. He played Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star 3.5 times. I think he played more than he was supposed to. What do you think? In came Laura. Can I read you a page from my reading book? She asked. No, Laura, said Mrs. Large. Go on, all of you, off downstairs. You let Lester play his tune, said Laura. I heard. You like him better than me. It's not fair. Oh, don't be silly, Laura, said Mrs. Large. Go on then, just 1 page. So Laura read. She read 4.5 pages of Little Red Riding Hood. I know that story. Have you read Little Red Riding Hood too? I think Laura read more pages than she was supposed to. What do you think? In came the little one with a trunk full of toys. For you, he beamed, flinging them all into the bath water. Thank you, dear, said Mrs. Large weakly. Goodness me, she's not getting any peace, is she? Can I see the cartoons in the paper? Asked Laura. Can I have the cake? Asked Lester. Could I get in with you? Asked the little one. Mrs. Large groaned. How is Mrs. Large feeling? Look closely at her face. In the end, they all got in. The little one was in such a hurry that he forgot to take off his pyjamas. Oh no! His pyjamas are going to be all wet. Does look quite good fun though. Mrs. Large got out. She dried herself, put on her dressing gown and headed for the door. Where are you going now, Mum? Asked Laura. To the kitchen, said Mrs. Large. Why? Asked Lester. Because I want 5 minutes' peace from you lot, said Mrs. Large. That's why. Oh dear, how is Mrs. Large feeling in this picture? Look closely at her eyes. And off she went, downstairs, where she had 3 minutes and 45 seconds of peace before they all came to join her. Goodness me. What is Mrs. Large doing with her peace? Looks to me like she might be reading the paper.